Well, hi folks, and welcome to this episode of The Art of Engineering. I've been working on lots of things as it is the school holidays, but unfortunately I haven't got footage or enough footage to put a video together. This video is lots and lots of footage that I've gotten of me fixing up stuff that has been annoying me or stuff that's been on the bench for a long time. One of those things has been the transmit light on my Magic antenna box. It has been permanently stuck on as the FET that switches that little LED on and off and also does the switching to earth for an SDR receiver was playing up. We'd blow on the FET. Usually happens when I transmit with one of the hybrids. Now, I should be putting some gate protection on there, a Zener, a diode to protect the gate. Unfortunately, I haven't got a Zener in stock at the present moment, so I'm going to swap in another FET, and it's the FETs that I'm using in my linear amplifier here for the Hermes, and it seems to be a very robust FET. So I'll be interested to see whether that can survive the onslaught. So that's one of the things that we're going to be doing in this video. We're going to organize the cords at the back behind the Magic antenna box, because the last time I took that out, it took me like 2 hours to work out where each cable went. So as I take the cables out, I will be labeling those. And we are also going to be working on the QMX. Spoiler alert, it's not a happy ending. Hey, stick around. Lots more to come. Let's go. Okay, folks. Look, I am not filled with a huge amount of confidence. I've done so much freeing around with this QMX and things that I probably shouldn't have done to it that the chances of it actually firing up is almost zero, I think. But almost zero is not zero. So we're going to keep trying for a little bit longer. And it's an opportunity to probe and prod and learn things along the way. So we're looking for TCXOs, 25 megs. I've got 5 of them here. Hopefully they're what they say they are. Pretty standard part, so I can't see why you'd want to sort of fake them. Size-wise, I think they look fairly similar. So I think we should be right. So I'm going to go grab my blind goggles. We're going to have a good crack at getting that TCXO reinstalled and see if we can get a clock signal to the to this chip here. I don't even know if you can see it. That's the TCXO there. I have to work out the pinout for this thing. I did write down where grounds were and whatnot. I'm hoping the pinout is the same as the one that I've taken out, or that it's a very standardized thing. If it's not, we are going to be in trouble. Now, something I need to tell you about that TCXO. A lot of you are probably thinking that might not even be the correct TCXO for the QMX. Well, I had that thought also, because Hans Summers is very precise and spends a lot of time selecting components that are going to do the best job for the cheapest price normally as well. So what I did was I went to one of my defunct prog rocks that had TCXOs that were working, and I pulled a TCXO off that. It's the same TCXO that's being used in the QMX. And in the end, I popped that one in just to make sure that it was like for like. But both times got similar clock signals and similar values and whatnot. And the thing was so close to operating on one occasion, but I think the board is cooked. I think I've managed to cook the CPU, taking it on and off, because the first time I put it on, I didn't do it correctly. All that good stuff, but we've learnt along the way. So that's what's happened on that front. Let's get on with the Magic antenna box repairs. This is a VK7 station, and he is having a chat to Helen, VK3RY, who I think is the person who actually worked me on my mooncake setup on 80 meters and using the chocolate box receiver. So the totally homebrew station. I'd love to have a chat, but seems that every time she finishes a QSO, Helen's the only lady that I've worked CW, and I'm sure that in the States and other places there's heaps of women operators. And let me know in the comment section if you know any CW operators in Australia who are heard on the air, because as of this moment, I think Helen's the only person I've worked CW. Presently, what I'm doing over here, this huge mess I'm doing here, is that last time I took all the cabling out of the back of this, it's just spaghetti, a spaghetti mess, a spaghetti monster, and I couldn't find where all the cables went, so I am labeling them this time. It's taking me a while, but I think in the long run, it's going to be a real time saver for me. Rig number 3 is being disconnected, and it's been labeled QMX. So 4 is the ISU.
Yaisu.
And that is number 4. And we are getting to the end of the roll. Now, if memory serves me correctly, 5 is the one that goes over to the workbench, and 6 is the one that heads over to the QRP playground. I'll swing the camera around, you can have a look at that. Ah, it's 5. So the QRP playground is 5. I'll swing it around, you can have a look. So this is the DX160. Not the most selective of receivers, but still works, still does the job. And I love it for all its old school beauty. And we are out of labels. They're behind the rig anyway, so we're just going to make them by hand. So I'm hoping now you can see why I sometimes get a little bit confused about where all the wires go. I'm going to put in the FET that I've got in my amplifier, which has been very robust, and it's the FQP13N10. And let's see how tough these things are, because so far I've gone through 1 nondescript MOSFET and 2 or 3 IRF 510. So let's see if this does all right. And I've transmitted into an open load with one of these and done all sorts of weird and wonderful things. So it'll be interesting to see just how tough they are. So the FET's hiding in down there. You can just see it. And let's see if it all goes back together and works like it's supposed to. Well, we got it all plugged in, and you can see the power supply under the bench there. It went dead. And obviously I'd crimped the lead or done something in the rat's nest that's behind this bench, which is why I never leave anything on when I'm not in the shack. Lest the whole place burn down, touch wood never happens. But the thing about the Drew Diamond design, that Miser's supply, is I've shorted it out on so many occasions, and you unplug the short and clear the short, no matter how long it's been there, the thing just fires up again. It's an amazing circuit. Flat battery on the mic again, so we're going to have to use the Evil AI again to clean this sound up for however long we can do that for free, because it won't be forever. That's my word on that. We have got everything set up. Part of the last video was missing sound, which is really annoying. So what's happening now is, like I was saying, before I got so really cut off by a flat battery, that power supply design, Drew Diamond, Projects for Radio Amateurs, volume 1 to 4, video description of those books in the link below. I wax lyrical about the designs because I've had so much fun with them. And of course, it's now powering my shack. So I've learned so much of Drew. Thank you, and have a Merry Christmas and a great New Year. Not that you're likely to see this. You've probably got better things to do with your time than watch my silly videos. I'll show you what's happening with the antenna box. There it is there. I've already checked to see if the frequency is in use, and it isn't. Transmit light is now off. We are on the Hermes light. Not so light now. It does 45 watts. And the light is coming on and off. And don't we love that? Don't we love little lights that flash on and off? So that is fantastic. And antenna box is working as it should. Like if I switch on over here and go to 4. Done. And it's slow morse night, which I forgot about, but I'm too tired. But there's so many people on tonight, so it's great to see. QRP Playground works. Yaisu is working. This is 3 is the QMX. 6 is the test bench. QRP Playground. 4 is the Yaisu. 3 is over here. 2 is our Kenwood. Well, thanks for sticking around right to the end of the video. I know things are traveling forward slowly and the videos have not really had a very cohesive theme. They've been a little bit all over the place, a little bit discombobulated like me. But I hope you can see that there's lots of exciting stuff happening. There's lots of learning happening. And of course, there is lots of failures happening too. It pains me to discuss it, but this is my QMX, and it looked like it was going to fire up. It loaded firmware and then it died again. And I've been doing diabolical things to it, getting 5 volts and 3.3 volts connected to it in various places to try and force it to start and all sorts of wonderful things like that. I think it is ready to go into the spare parts bin. And I did learn a lot about soldering and desoldering of SMD components. Had a lot of fun taking things on and off the board. Probably should have practiced on junk instead of good stuff. But like I said, we live and we learn. 7-3, and I shall see you in the next episode of The Art of Engineering, aka Death and Destruction of Electronics.